the Red Sox, George, returned from the All-Star break today. They lost 4-1 to the Chicago Cubs. Obviously, this team has had a ton of energy, a ton of juice, 10-game winning streak going into the break. Were you disappointed to see them come out flat today?
Yeah, my opening take is, can we once again reevaluate what was the foundation of that 10-game win streak? It was the Washington Nationals, who have an ownership group that is tanking, likely trying to sell, which is insane. And then it's the Colorado Rockies, who have ownership that I don't know what the heck they're doing. They're wasting one of the best ballparks in all of baseball.
Yeah.
But that's how they got those first 6 wins. And then in game 1, Taj Bradley, dealing for the Rays, gets pulled on 88 pitches. Cash, for whatever reason, hates seeing pitchers who are dealing go above 90 pitch count. We all know Blake Snell a few years ago in the postseason.
Yeah.
But that was a foundation. Cedane Rafaela's heroics with the bat. The terrific pitching that they got from their starting pitchers. The Red Sox were playing good baseball, but the first 6 wins were against the 2 worst teams and literally 2 of the 5 worst pitching staffs in totality in all Major League Baseball. And what did Lucas Giolito do? He didn't go the distance, and that's what the question is. So with all the rumors swelling, with everyone saying they want to go out and get that elite number 2 arm, we were talking about the password. We don't want to see him get dealt. If that brings Joe Ryan to Boston,
sure, fine.
You do it.
But we have to come up with a hell of a nickname for Joe Ryan.
JR. That's what it's going to be.
Oh, no.
If he is wearing, Masataka Yoshida has 7. If he's wearing 7, JR 7.
Well, if Garrett Crochet's the big pig, you got to do something. Can we have like call him the barnyard rotation, right? Put that all together.
Joe Ryan's a rooster.
I'll simplify it for you. What you just said. The Red Sox were not the worst team on the field during the winning streak. And what I mean by that, I actually think they have a better roster than the Rays.
Yes.
But they were playing and managing more soundly than their opponents. And what happened today if Abraham Toro get caught leaning off second base on a flyout? So,
getting lost on that base path.
Right. I forget it. There was a misplay in the field.
Between Jaron Duran and Alex Bregman.
Yeah.
They lost the ball in the sun, but still. Bregman lost to Duran. You got to make that play.
Just not doing it was the basics. It was the basics. It was the fundamentals that got him again today. Mm-hmm. During the win streak, how many times did you look at it and say, ugh, there's another issue with fundamentals? There were a handful. I know they had one really sloppy game in Washington, but Washington was sloppier. You're playing the 3 first-place teams in the National League coming out of this break. You can't bank on getting sloppy baseball to help you out. You hope it's just one game, a little rusty coming out of the break, right? They come back out tomorrow motivated. Then you got Crochet going on Sunday. You're in good shape.
And
you hope it's that.
It's this stretch. Cubs, Phillies, Dodgers, Astros twice, the Royals in there, San Diego. That is, by August 13th, like that's the season. And it goes back to, we could talk about how good they're playing, what Alex Cora's doing right. Hey, look at the signings. And I give credit to Craig Breslow, Garrett Crochet, Aroldis Chapman, Alex Bregman. That's what he did this offseason, on top of other additions. Great job. But you need more. And you have to do it now because it's a Cubs, Phillies, Dodgers. Twins are going to sell. It's Astros, Royals, Padres, Astros. Come on.
They have the hardest schedule in baseball in the second half.
Yeah, they literally do.
They did. There's metrics that tell you, and when I'm using metrics, I'm serious because I hate analytics, but there's a number of different ways you can spin it that they have the toughest schedule. All the more reason, George, I'd like to see them get aggressive at the deadline in terms of the timeline. This is a pet peeve of mine. I've talked about it for a few weeks on this station. Whether it's July 31st in baseball, February 1st in hockey, March 1st in basketball, whatever it is, right? The NFL one doesn't matter. But that's the deadline means end. Deadline doesn't mean, okay, today's the deadline. Today we're going to put the work in. Teams that strike early at the deadline are usually rewarded because the players you're getting back, you get them for more games, especially when you have a stretch like this. I get it. Giolito's been better. How great would it have been if it was Joe Ryan starting that game today? Because the Red Sox swung a deal over the break. It's obviously too late for that, but if you trade for Joe Ryan tomorrow versus trading for him on July 30th or 31st, that's 2 or 3 more starts you're going to get out of him. You trade for a bat, and I think I'm kind of surprised, as focused as everybody is on the pitching, and I do agree they need another pitcher. I'm kind of surprised there hasn't been as much talk about them getting another bat, especially a right-handed bat, especially somebody that can play first base. And when you see the way Abraham Toro played today, all the more reason, you're going to get another, 50 at-bats out of that guy over 2-3 weeks? So I'd like to see them get aggressive. I'd like to see them strike sooner rather than later. If that means you have to pay a little more, so be it. Especially if you're getting a guy like Joe Ryan, who has team control, who's not just a rental, who's going to be a part of this thing long term. So I like to see him get aggressive. I don't know about you, George. Did the trade deadline flash in front of your eyes when you saw Jarren Duran hit that wall today? Which, hell of a catch. Credit to him. But he went full speed into that wall. That's a thin pad on bricks. And I'm thinking oh boy, they just lost their best trade chip. Because their prospect pool, when you take out Meyer and Anthony and Campbell, is not what it was. I know there's some interest. I've heard there's some interest at least in Peyton Tolle in terms of the reports. Or Peyton Toll, I think. Or is it Tolle, right? Tolle.
That's someone you can use next season. That's his ETA.
But so here's the thing. I'd be fine dealing Peyton Tolle if somebody's high on him. They just used 15 of their 21 draft picks on college pitchers. The pipeline's replenished. And you can't trade those guys. You can't trade guys the year you draft them. But get aggressive if that's what it takes. And I'd really like to see him strike early.
Especially Peyton Tolle. If you move him, and that's a Joe Ryan in return, who's 29, 2 years of arbitration remaining, that would be 3 years of team control between Garrett Crochet and Joe Ryan, your 1-2, along with Brian Bayo being under extension. It makes that rotation real. And Abraham Toro, if you go back to literally the 18th of last month, so almost a month going back, he is batting average 214. He was great for a while. He was great to start, and he's cooled off. He's making mistakes in the field. But literally go back a month. Today's July 18th. You go back to June 18th. His batting average is 214 over that stretch. They need that first base bat or the right-hand bat. Taylor Ward with the Angels plays left field, right-hand bat, 25 to 30 home runs. He could DH. You want to give Roman Anthony a night off, or you want Roman Anthony left, Taylor Ward DHs, or vice versa. But that coincides also with Jarren Duran. Yeah, when he went into that wall, great catch. When they cut to him and he was just standing there.
He was wincing a little bit.
And he's yoked, man. He's got a big barrier. He could take hits.
And he's a tough guy.
When he's slow to get up, you're like, oh, man.
That's not right. That's not a guy that's going to milk it. And I think he's their best trade chip. And I don't love the idea of trading him, but if it gets you Joe Ryan, or if it gets you Eugenio Suarez, I don't know if Arizona's going to sell, but
they will.
Josh
Naylor.
They're other corner out infielder, Josh Naylor. Yeah,
that's your first baseman.
If it gets you one of those guys, if moving Duran gets you one of those guys, I'm all for it. And then maybe you trade Tolle. Maybe then you trade Tolle for Ward to get that fourth outfielder back. You recoup him.
I want to keep it simple. Let's keep it one team to one team. Jarren Duran, Peyton Tolle, other prospects. You could get a Josh Naylor and a Zach Gallen in return. And that's postseason starts, and that's a good first base bat.
That's not bad.
It wouldn't be that simple, but
I'd rather get Joe Ryan.
No, 1,000%.
And then go out and you can find I'd like to see him get a middle of the order right-handed bat. If you can just get a first baseman, I'm dating myself here. If you can get a Doug Menkiewicz, as long as you get, just a guy who's going to go out there, start, play first, not screw up, doesn't need to be the best player in the team. If you bring in a guy like Joe Ryan and then maybe a pitcher, a reliever too,
yeah,
and then it's just, all right, we're going to trade our fifth or sixth best prospect for this rental first baseman. Yeah. Didn't they trade for Adam LaRoche at the deadline one year?
Yes.
And that was fine. JT Snow, right? Just go trade for one of those guys. Just somebody who can play capable first base is going to hit 250. I could live with that.
I mean, Kyle Schwarber. That was a trade deadline acquisition in 2021. They taught him the position on the fly.
So that's what I don't want them to do.
Wasn't beautiful.
That's what I don't want. As much as I liked Kyle Schwarber,
it was that
great.
Bat.
I need get a real first baseman.
I need the bat. Yes, get a real
I need the bat, but if you're going to teach a third baseman to play first, that's one thing. Schwarber, and he was coming off an injury. I wouldn't go that far. But Suarez I think he's played a little bit of first base in his career.
He's a good fielder, good bat too.
And he is, yeah. He is. A guy like that would make some sense to me. But I want to see them add a corner outfielder, but I don't want to see them do it on July 30th or July 31st.
You can do it now.
I want to see them do it now.
To your point, hey, July 31st is the trade deadline. Talking to everyone in Major League Baseball. That doesn't mean you have to do it that day.
There was a move, and I don't remember the pitcher. I tell this story all the time, and I wish I could remember the pitcher's name. But it was a couple years ago. The Braves were kind of what the Red Sox were right now. They were competing for a wild card spot, and they struck early. First week in July, they traded for a starting pitcher, and you know what happened? They sucked. They had a really bad July. So what'd they do? They traded that pitcher away at the deadline. They sold. They sold and they recouped what they lost. So now the Red Sox should not be selling. But if you realize this guy's not going to work out, and you wouldn't do it with a guy like Joe Ryan, but you give up a mid-tier prospect for rental first baseman, he's not working out, or you end up back at 500, you flip him. But the Red Sox, they're not in a position where they should be selling at all. So at this point, that part of the story should be irrelevant.
that's where, and they need to add to this team. They're still in it. They're still in that second wild card spot, and that's where the sense of urgency has to go. We were talking about it with Maz between his baseball hour wrapping up and us getting on the set, and I was like, "So the super pen, like that's a real conversation." He's like, "Oh yeah, no, you need solid pitching. You need a solid number 2." We saw Brian Bale last season get 30 starts. We saw him be a full season workhorse. Lucas Giolito, I have faith he can bounce back. I mean, it's not like there's being locked in. You don't have the rest, all of that. But he found something. He was throwing his stuff, and he was throwing gas. He wasn't going breaking balls. He was going four-seam, nothing that has to do with the sweeper, and he was fantastic. He could get back to being a number 3. Garrett Crochet, we haven't seen him do a full season, let alone be the ace. Tons of innings pitched, late in game, give a big workload. They need that number 2. Super pen, for a team that we're saying add to the bullpen, there's no way that has to be there's no way that should be an actual solution.
No, I'm not a fan of the super pen, and it also puts more like Alex Cora's management of the bullpen has been up and down this year. So super pen puts a lot more on the manager.